everybody, what's up? It's Ree, her Rebel Inks art, here again with another, what the heck do I call these? Character design challenge. I'm so sorry, I just blanked on everything. I'm back after a temporary hiatus, while I moved out of my parents' house into my own apartment, put everything on pause, flower power, streams, and YouTube videos, but now we're back, and that means I get to be back to doing my regular recordings. So, for today's prompt, we did Glitter Witch, and again, just for this, we go to, it's Soft Hoof's random aesthetic generator, and then create a character based off of it. If you want to go ahead and try along for yourselves, the link to that generator is down in the description below. Starting off with this, I had a pretty crisp idea of what I wanted right off of the bat, which is something I'm always excited to have happen. I wanted a very modern witch, somebody who is very, you know, very fashionable, but still very laid back, very relaxed, just kind of had that whole cutesy vibe going to them. So immediately I kind of started off, I had that nice reserved pose, gave him a sweater vest, not a sweater vest, a sweater dress. I'm a mess today, that's alright though. I got some eye patch in there just because, for whatever reason, that was a design idea that grabbed me and I decided to roll with it. Threw some freckles on there because freckles are really life's, you know, natural glitter. And then just kind of set to work fleshing out all the kind of cleaned up details. Originally with this, I was thinking more of a bob cut, but when I was doing the cleaned up sketch, I just couldn't make it look like it wasn't some kind of horrible bowl cut. So I guess, you know, working on bob cuts or something I need a bit more improvement in, but for now it means that our lovely little character gets a super cute pixie cut, which I'm always a fan of. Did give her those nice straight bangs though, which are always cute, no matter the occasion. Now, one of the biggest challenges I ran into while doing this picture was the hands, specifically the hand I have holding the wand. There's going to be quite a few pauses throughout here as I hit up online and try to find references on Google. I went through a couple different ideas before I finally just found an image I liked, copied and pasted it, and held it right there at the correct angle so I could see what I was doing. Because no matter what I did, the hands always looked super misshapen. I had this idea in my head. I have this very specific, like, dainty way of holding a wand. Kind of like, I don't know, it's been so long since I've seen Cinderella, but the way I always felt like the fairy godmother held her wand. And try as hard as I could, I couldn't find any kind of reference for that. So eventually I scrapped that just to work with something that felt a bit more practical and a bit less blobby. I think we're gonna see here me pulling up the reference. There it is. And with that, I'm finally able to get a hand down that doesn't look so bad, so I can move on to something else. Another design aspect that I was really excited to have going on was that big old floppy witch hat. I'm a huge fan of those, and I really love that they've kind of been gaining more attention and popularity lately. Nothing's cuter than a big old floppy hat. There isn't a soul alive who can't feel confident in a big old floppy hat. They're awesome, they're cute. I wanted to throw some flowers on there too, we're gonna see those here in a minute. And then some nice comfortable boots. You gotta be nice and comfy in order to get your potion on. I still don't have too much of a concrete idea for who exactly this character is. I don't have a name or anything down. I imagined her as being a sort of shy, keep-to-herself local witch who makes potions in her shop. She doesn't do anything too fancy, mostly just your basic potions and such, but she's more kind of focused in on the aesthetic of them, adds glitter to everything she does, tries to make everything sparkle and shine the way magic should. And here we are heading into the line art. I had a lot of fun lining this one. It was a nice hybrid of really choppy, chunky aspects and very flowy aspects. Made for just a very fun piece to work on. And of course, those thick eyebrows. It wouldn't be a drawing of mine without them. Going into the sweater, gave her a super cute, chunky turtleneck. wanted her to be dressed very comfy. Not so much for, you know, style or anything, but more for practicality. Like, yeah, she's looking cute, but she's not trying too hard about it, you know? I am having a weird experience with this one, and I think it might be because I recorded the video of this yesterday, and I'm only just now getting around to editing and recording the voices for it today. But you know how when you're watching a speed paint or the like, and everything feels so hypnotizing, and you can't fathom that anybody actually sat down and worked on this, and, you know, put the time in, it just feels like it kind of magically appears? There's parts of this where I feel that way about my own picture, and it might just be because of the time put between it. But it's a very weird experience to look at something you know you created and feel like it's not yours. Here we had another little pause while I tried to find some references for these hands. In the end, I'm still not super happy with how this hand turned out, but it's not bad enough that I'm too concerned about it. Here we are. The flowers in particular are just very trippy to watch unfold. This has sped up by 5 times the original speed, and so when I was working on these, it was such a tedious process. I was so sick of those flowers, but I'm really happy with how the final effect looks, so I can't say it was time wasted. Getting that floofy little tail of the hat in, and then doing some lovely little sparkles on the eye patch. In the end, I'm not really sure why my brain immediately settled on eye patch as a design element, but it's one that I'm really happy with. I really love the work towards kind of normalizing eye patches, making them something cuter or more gender neutral. Because eye patches are cute. They can be a fun design element, they can be very cool, and they're, you know, something a lot of people have to wear. Now, heading into the color palette of this painting, I had a hard time kind of deciding initially what exactly I wanted this painting to look like. I couldn't come up with a color scheme that I liked before I finally settled in on doing namely silver and gold with teal highlights. And the reason I wanted this is because A, I wanted to, you know, get some hot and cold colors going on, but I went with silver and gold because, while I know glitter comes in plenty of colors, the glitter that I normally use for my acrylic paintings is silver and gold. And so for whatever reason, that's just, you know, what I immediately associate with glitter. So she's got a big old gold floppy hat and her gold boots and her silver sweater. When I was doing her freckles, I decided to make those actual glitter instead of regular freckles as well. Because if you can make freckles magical, why not? I do apologize in advance for those of you who are new to my art. You're gonna pick up on the fact that very fast that I almost always draw girls, and they're almost always gonna have freckles. I have a type. Did some blue and pink flowers on the hat just to kind of bring in that blue teal, and then the pink to accent it. I gave her striped socks too, because that's something that I've always associated with the concept of a witch. Don't know if that's a Wizard of Oz thing, a Homestuck thing, but it's something that I can't quite shake, and, well, I like how it turned out, so I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. So here I'm just cleaning up my colors before I go in and start putting in details. Finishing up those tiny little details, making sure everything's filled in, before I'm going to start adding a semi-metallic sheen to the different aspects of her outfit, so that it feels more sparkly and more, you know, shiny. Here I'm going in with just a regular pen brush, and I am meticulously going through and adding a bunch of different little sparkles. After I finish all of these, I'm going to throw it on an add layer and kind of go through with a soft eraser to fuzzy them up a bit, just to make it feel a lot more shiny, a lot more sparkly. I really wanted to drive the, you know, glitter part home of this, because again, I found myself feeling like I didn't quite work it in well enough to the initial design. So this time I tried to go ahead and compensate early and work it more into the details of this picture. That way I could have something I was happy with by the end. So I do this to both her sweater, her hat, and her boots. That's 3. I shouldn't have said both. That's alright though. I put them mainly on where the light source was coming from while scattering them throughout the rest of the clothing. I used blue tinted ones for the silver parts and yellow tinted sparkles for the gold parts. That way when I threw it on Ad, it would have just a little bit of color left to it. It was probably not my best idea to go through and do all of these little polka dots by hand. It certainly took much more time than I should have let it take, but the effect looks cool, so. And there we go, those are lovely little bits of glitter. With that, I'm going in and I'm going ahead and doing some shading. So I'm just kind of very sloppily sticking dark navy wherever I want the shadows to be on my picture. I try to blaze through that very fast because I know a lot of it is going to get erased. Eventually I went with a dark magenta instead of navy. I liked the way it accentuated the picture more. And I go through with that soft eraser. I kind of soften everything up. And then I go in with an airbrush and a bright yellow. And I throw on an ad layer to give it a nice bit of shine. Finally, I'm going in here and I'm addressing these potions I've got hovering off to the side. I went with red, blue, and green because I feel like that's the stereotypical potion colors. Added some glitter and sparkles in there to make it feel extra shiny. And then finally I'm doing the string around the bottles. With that, I'm just doing some final touches. I'm doing a little bit of magic coming out of her wand. I mess with that a bit. And here I'm going to go ahead and put up the final picture so you guys can see how it turned out. Overall, I feel like I could have pushed the concept more, but I'm happy with how it turned out all the same. Kind of a nice little in-between my rain vintage and my garden deity. It's not the best I could do, but it's pretty darn good. And I'll take pretty darn good, you know? So with that, I'm glad you guys all watched. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see anything in particular from me later, I'm going to start doing more speed paints. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Good night, you guys.